Good morning. Welcome to your heavy metal horoscopes for the week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic. You can catch me every Friday night on www.paramaniaradio.com, 4 p.m. Pacific time, for the heavy metal psychic radio show. But for now, it's horoscope time, and we have yet another really exciting week. So we're going to get right to it. And we're going to start, of course, with Aries. Mercury's first week of retrograde, because it started yesterday, is actually going to be a little bit difficult for Aries, although Mercury's not actually aspecting any planets in Aries. But with the Sun and Venus in Libra, it's causing oppositions throughout the week with Uranus in your sign and forming a T-square with Pluto at the same time. So all four planets are kind of sort of not working together in a very good way. They're creating a big challenge for everybody. So it is going to cause some difficulties there, especially when it feels like, no matter how hard you work, you're not getting anywhere in your career. However, the fire grand trine still goes on this week, all week long. And about Tuesday, Wednesday, when the moon moves into your sign this week, that's going to make the difficulties a little bit more difficult, but it's going to add an extra energy to that fire grand trine also. So when it comes down to it, awesome possibilities there. Money is not an issue because of Jupiter's placement in where it's at in the fire grand trine. So you won't have to necessarily worry about the money that you need in order to move forward in your plans. This is more difficulties with people around you. So don't be so needy on them needing to how do I want to say this? Don't be so needy on them needing to be right on the same page as you are. They don't necessarily have to be on the same page as you. You can do what you need to do on your own. So there may be a little bit of difficulties there with people around you, but you're going to get through it because you're awesome, and that's how that works. Taurus, forming new awesome partnerships this week with those that you love is actually favorable. Not just, your family relationships, but actually forming partnerships or maybe even business partnerships with your family. Definitely a good week for that. A couple of things you want to remember is that the relationship is going to take on a new level, and this can cause a difficulty because normally you have a certain relationship with people on a daily basis. You're going to have to change that around a little bit. It can be difficult to work with your family because you already have an established communication there with your family, but the truth is that this is actually a new opportunity to learn how to communicate in a different way with your family, maybe even on a business level, and taking some of those issues that you have and putting them, discussing them over the business table. It does make it a little bit easier, kind of takes the emotions out. So really, there's good possibilities in forming these partnerships. If you have ideas, or maybe the two of you have ideas that you can mold together this week, getting that started is definitely an awesome time for that. It's gonna be in your favor. And no matter what happens, though, this week, um, it's important to stick to your guns about boundaries when it comes to your family. And this is the way that you both can actually use that Taurus stubbornness in your favor when it comes to boundaries, because sometimes our loved ones don't always see those boundaries and they tend to walk on those boundaries. You're going to have to be really, really tough on those boundaries for your sake, not necessarily for their sake, although a little bit for that too. So awesome possibilities there for you, Tauruses. Gemini, there's nothing worse for a Gemini than a boring, dull life. Okay, and this week it's all about your um the daily grind or your daily schedules, basically. And if things are getting a little bit boring or things seem to be getting like you're stuck in a rut, find something to shake things up, whether it be a new project or revisiting a project that you've been trying to do and haven't had success lately. You may be able to come up with some new ideas or possibilities for that, but you have to have something outside of the daily routine. Otherwise, things get really, really redundant and really boring. And for a Gemini, that is like death, basically. You don't want that. So when it comes down to it and things start to get boring, shake it up a bit. Whether it means that you go out of your way to go to a museum and check things out, or whether you go out of your way, take some time in your schedule instead of going to lunch at the same place, go somewhere different. Things like that to kind of shake things up so that your schedule doesn't become boring and literally like you're dragging through it this week. Also, when this happens, this boredom actually is a good thing for Geminis because it awakens this sort of need to explore, need to create, need to do some fantastic things out there. So it's actually really a good thing. Just the only problem is that of course what was the thing, the devil creates work for idle fingers. So you want to make sure, of course, that you're not getting yourself into trouble, but actually use this energy to create some awesome possibilities for yourself. Cancers are coming up to a week of nothing. And that's actually a beautiful thing when you think about it. When you've been going through so many different things and so many different focuses, you're actually moving into a time where there really isn't a focus, at least for a week or so. And this creates a beautiful rest time where nothing major is popping up, where you don't have the worries that you normally would have. It's just a peaceful time. And the part of fortune actually comes into your sign about midweek or so and brings a lot of luck into your relationships and even some money there. So those money worries that you've been having for the past couple of weeks, let them go. They're done for now, and enjoy a couple of weeks, not just one, but a couple of weeks of some really nice rest time where you can enjoy yourself. If you've been working on projects, take a moment to step back and see how far you've come with those projects. See what you have accomplished. You need to do that every now and then, because if you don't do that, it looks like you haven't done anything. So take a step back and look at everything that you've done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe even throw yourself a party, because you guys deserve it. You've been working really, really hard the past few weeks. Leo, Jupiter and Mars are not only very important players in the grand fire trine, but they're also working with the Sun and Venus and Libra, creating beautiful possibilities in your career. Now, you've got the expansion of money there with Jupiter. You've got the ability to shine there in things that you love with the Sun and Venus. And Mars, of course, is that fire underneath your behind to get you going. Beautiful possibilities there for you Libras. And of course, Jupiter and Mars are part of the fire grand trine with Uranus. So what this is saying is that you may not be able to move forward in new ways. You may have to go back to the basics. And that seems kind of weird if the basics haven't worked before, but trust me, going back to the basics now actually is going to work better in your favor. You've got more things set up at this particular time, that going back to the basics will work better for you at this time. Even the aspect with Saturn, when it comes to that responsibility and that feeling as if the money isn't coming in, it doesn't hold the weight that it does when you've got a grand trine and a sextile there with the Sun and Venus. So use this week to make huge changes, to make huge forward movement in whatever it is. And if you're looking to change jobs, this week is the week to do it. So definitely put your nose to the grind there. You guys are going to do awesome. Virgo, the Lilith or the dark moon is in Virgo this week and causing a little bit of an issue. There's no other planets to influence Virgo, but the dark moon is kind of a pain in the behind when it comes to making changes. Now, the dark moon, and she's in retrograde, the dark moon actually creates tension when it comes to making the changes that you need. Let's say, for example, that you're one of those Virgos that doesn't like to make changes very often, or you're very stuck on what it is that you want to do. The dark moon comes in and says, hey, this hasn't been working, so you need to change it up. Do something different. And we're not just talking a little bit different, we're talking massive changes. Whether it's in your thought patterns, how you manifest it, or simply doing what you have been doing. So if you feel that restless energy with the dark moon says your focus has been here, but look over here, because you never know what kind of possibilities you could be creating for yourself if you just look at a different avenue, basically. So awesome changes and awesome possibilities there for you guys this week. Libras, happy birthday to all the Libras this week. We've got a full week of the sun in Libra. We've also got Venus in Libra, and we've got the Mercury retrograde moving into Libra this week. So lots and lots and lots of action going on in Libra this week. Good and maybe not so good. The retrograde Mercury, of course, is the biggest thing that we're worried about here, because Mercury retrogrades have a tendency to cause communication breakdowns, as well as some other really annoying, uncomfortable stuff. So, first things first, because the retrograde is in your sign for the next 3 weeks, you want to make sure to kind of avoid signing contracts or any kind of business deals or anything like that, and at least until the retrograde is over, because there are complications there. And I do want to say, a lot of people don't believe in that. But I just want to say that a certain Libra of mine and I went and bought a car during a Libra or a Mercury retrograde, and we didn't get the registration or the tags done for a smack year. Okay? That's what Mercury retrogrades do. So keep that in mind. You got the sun, you got Venus, they're all shining in your career house today. Big changes can take place in your career and doing things that you love. You do have the control, even if the Mercury retrograde makes it feel like you don't. So slow down your communication to make absolutely sure that everybody is on the same page as you. And if they're not understanding, take the time and the patience to explain yourself there, because you definitely want to do that. If you don't do that, it's going to create issues for you to have to clean up later. And trust me, you don't want to do that. Scorpio, as Mercury turns retrograde, it actually starts out about 2 degrees into Scorpio, or at least it was yesterday. And as it leaves Scorpio, which it will by the end of the week, actually, it's going to create some awesome possibilities for you, because it's trined with the moon actually today, which is in Pisces, and also trined with Neptune. So the moon and Neptune are actually in very close conjunction with each other today. And this is actually going to create some good possibilities for you. Now, number one, first of all, Mercury is in the career house, and these two planets in the water trine that it's in with Neptune and the moon are in the house of the mind. So manifestation is what that's all about. Take the things that are closest to your heart, the things or the possibilities or the opportunities that you want, and think positive about them. This is actually going to help you communicate about them in a positive way, and this is actually going to help you achieve those goals. If you sit around and you think, well, this is never going to happen, of course it's never going to happen. That's the energy that you're putting into it. So this aspect, and it happens all week long, is actually really, really good. Now, the aspect that Saturn, which is in your sign and has been there for a while, and it's going to be there for a while, and Jupiter, with that feeling like, money, you make it and then it's gone. That's how that feels. It comes in and whoosh, it's right out the window. But at the same time, with this Mercury and Neptune trine here, it's really big boosts in your career. So don't focus so much on the money and whether you have it or not. Put the focus on the career, because the career is going to rule the money aspect. So, and it also helps you to take your mind off of the annoyances with money. So wonderful possibilities there for you, Scorpios. Sagittarius, Mars is in a beautiful position to make endless possibilities come true for you. No negative aspects all week long. It's part of the grand fire trine, and it also sextiles with Jupiter and the Sun and Venus in your career house. So that means possibilities in your career. It means possibilities in making money. It means going back to your roots and doing what you're good at, basically. And you Saggies know exactly what it is that you're good at. Now, there's beautiful possibilities here to not only make money, but to make money doing what you are good at and doing what you love, basically. So when it comes down to it, you're the only one that's holding you back. That's the basic bottom line there. You're the only one holding yourself back. There's no challenges. There's no astrological bodies holding you back. It's all inside of you. So you want to make the choice. Are you going to stay where you are, or are you going to move forward to awesome? It's all up to you guys. And you guys have literally an open road to do whatever it is that you want this week. So make good choices and do an awesome job this week. Capricorns, Pluto's aspects with Uranus and Aries and the Sun and Venus and Libra this week cause challenges when it comes to your home and your career. And Pluto is basically sitting in the house of you. It's all about you right now. Now, when it comes down to it, though, you're going to start seeing some issues there when it comes to your career and when it comes to your home. And these situations, although they are completely unconnected with each other, start to mimic each other. And this is a very strange thing when it happens, when it seems that people in your family and people in your career seem to be acting in the same way, not necessarily in a good way. And this aspect all brings home, what is it that I'm doing to cause this situation? Or what is it that I'm doing, maybe not to cause it, but that's not fixing the situation? And you really kind of have to look to yourself to figure out where those issues, pardon me, are coming from. The truth of the matter is it's not you that's causing it, but how you're handling the situations could actually be keeping them going like that, especially with certain people. So this week is all about taking a look at that and seeing what you can do to change how you're helping out to change the situation from taking place over and over again. You are definitely awesome at problem solving, but this time you kind of sort of have to take that gift and point it at yourself to see where it is that you can make the changes so that you can manifest them out towards everybody else. Aquarius, when it seems like the same old fears come creeping back into your life, which is not a fun place for Aquarians, by the way. Fear or any kind of uncomfortable emotion is definitely uncomfortable for Aquarius. But when it seems like the same old fears are creeping back into the situation, there's a reason for it. Of course, life gives us these challenges or brings us these situations in order for us to learn how to let go of the old mindsets. And that's probably going to happen actually this week as we're moving into a space where we're looking at some of the old things. Now, these times are very annoying, yes. At the same time, um, if we look at it and we learn from it and we accept the fact that there's a root there that needs to be worked on, we can eliminate it from coming back again later on. So, yes, it may be uncomfortable, but at the same time, once you do what you're supposed to do, it's over with and done with, and you don't have to deal with it again. And that is definitely an awesome thing for Aquarians because we really don't like to repeat ourselves very often. And finally, Pisces, the moon begins the week in your sign. It's actually a beautiful thing for you. It's adding strength to the manifestation of your thoughts into actions when it comes to your career. Whatever it is that's in your heart, allow that to be the ruling force of how you communicate. It actually works beautifully with the Mercury retrograde this week. Probably won't be there next week, but at the same time, right now, use it. Communicate what's in your heart, not necessarily in a whiny way, but communicate it, communicate what's in your heart, and maybe tone down that communication a little bit. You can still get your point across without having to put too much emotion in what you're communicating at the same time. So this week is kind of about really dulling down that the fear in your words and actually speaking from the heart instead. The truth is that you want to create a conversation that gets results, not a conversation that seems that you're complaining about something, but you want to use the words that you're going to use to create results and get what you want. So when it comes down to it, this is a beautiful way to be able to make sure that your career moves in the direction you want it to move in, not in the direction that you fear it's going to move in. Not just with your career, but with other things as well. There's a lot of different possibilities there. It all starts here. Make sure that you're manifesting and you're thinking and you're visualizing what you want and not what you fear is going to happen. Thank you for listening. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to check out our website, afairymothersdream.webs.com. Myself, along with my two partners, we've got classes, we've got readings available, and we're going to have a jewelry store coming up here in the next few months or so. So, check that out because it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, don't forget to check out our group, Grateful Fairy Wings Faithfuls, on Facebook. We'll have all the links there and everything. We announce all of our classes and all kinds of other readings and all kinds of other things that we do in that group, and we have tons and tons of fun. Again, thank you for listening this week. Again, see you next week and have a beautiful, awesome metal week, guys.